Item 6.38, which is elementary principal, will be removed from the consent agenda and voted on separately. Item 641, information system manager. Item 642, accounting manager. And item 643, supervisor of residential attendance officer, are being withdrawn from the agenda by the superintendent. Under old business, item 6.26 from the February meeting, the termination of Ruben Vargas, will be removed from the agenda and not voted on this evening.
Mr. Franchetta, Trustee Gastineau just advised that she's going to be abstaining for any of the resolutions to deal with under the twos for PS number 2.
Okay. With those changes in mind, I have a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented and modified.
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. President Sears.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Trustee Alon.
Yes.
Trustee Duval.
Yes.
Trustee Gasadui. Trustee Dr. Pizzatelli.
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez. Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. All right, and now we'll vote on item 6.38, which was removed from the consent agenda, the elementary principal appointment. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Yeah, this is on the appointment of the elementary principal.
Excuse me.
6.38.
No, this is the appointment, this is not a consent agenda?
This has been removed from the consent agenda, and this
You're pulling it out of the consent agenda.
you're only voting on whether or not the person that the superintendent named should be appointed as the elementary
It's
principal.
already off the consent agenda, Mr. Rodriguez. It was already pulled off the consent agenda, so you're voting individually on this motion.
On this motion? Okay,
As to
my
whether or
vote-
not
Are
you
you
will
asking for my
appoint or
vote
not.
now?
Yes.
No.
Dr. Pizzatelli?
No.
Trustee Gasadui? Trustee Duval? This is the elementary principal.
No. Because, excuse me, I'm confused because the way we talk inside is different than now. That's why I asked you again to double check. So,
You asked that the item be removed from the consent agenda, and it was, and now that's what you're voting on this item all by
I
itself.
want to double check, okay, no.
No, okay. Trustee Alon? Vice President Reyes?
No.
President Series?
Abstain.
At this time, we'll open the floor again for public comment for anyone who wishes to address the board. If there's anyone that wishes to address the board, now is your opportunity. Please approach the podium, microphone, and state your name for the record. Seeing no one, is there anyone?
Good afternoon. How are you? Commissioner Wiley from West New York. There's a lot of things going on in this board. Again, that a lot of cooperation. One thing I want to bring up is we have an individual who doesn't attend work or doesn't show to work, and I see that this was pulled from the agenda again with Ruben Vargas. Okay, and in any public sector job or any private sector, should I say, you don't attend work, you should be removed from the job. I don't think any special consideration should be made for this individual. If I worked there, I wouldn't expect to have that special privilege to be considered for that job. So whatever's going on in that back room that you left the people here waiting for in hearings, I think that this business could have been handled with the people here while they were here to express themselves. Could have been something out of consideration that they do have families, and I don't appreciate that political agenda or the way these guys, the way they handle things to be structured in the media, okay? And I wouldn't allow that in the town either. So I really would like that next time that consideration to the people that are here to express themselves. And I understand there was a lot of other teachers here that probably had a lot more to say about what took place here as far as their raises. And I understand we're in a budget crisis here right now. And I understand also where we're sitting on in the town as far as creating that budget for the school. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm always going to be here to be honest, truthful about what's going on. They have a budget that they can't complete also. I know this was mismanagement on the town's part as far as the way the mayor ran the town to begin with. And that we are also in a budget crisis here ourselves. That way we can't make ends meet also in our budget. But when I see the administration receive 2% raise, and we have the workers below us who teach the kids and are spending most of the time with these children, they should also be considered. See, as me as a leader, I would have done this differently. If there was 2%, I would have rather gave up my 1% to give to the people below us and made sure that everybody got to eat something here or got something in their contract, which they should have had for the past 2 years. And as a board, you remember something. You need to be responsible. This isn't about a dog-eat-dog world, which I've noticed to see happen in West New York quite frequently. And that's what I'm continuing to try to change here. And I want to see you as individuals here take that same opinion. You know, you're sitting on the board, like I told you. This is something that is a responsibility. And it's not about you. It's about the children. It's about our kids. Because remember, you have unhappy teachers. It's like anywhere else, like we have in town right now. We have unhappy workers. And the morale has never been lower in West New York than I've ever seen it before. People are afraid to talk. And I'm understanding the same thing's taking place here in the Board of Ed with the teachers. And they're not happy right now. And especially when they can't be rewarded for what they do. And when an administration takes 2% and worries about them, their pocket first before the people below who take care of these kids, that bothers me as a commissioner. And especially as a parent, I have children, especially one son who's going to be attending these schools in the next 2 years. And this is something I want to see happen. But the way things are going, guys, and we went over this last time, the last meeting I attended with the report that you received from the state, that there's no cooperation here. There's a lot of political conflict taking place here in West New York, in each side of the board here. And I don't want to see that continue to happen. And I'm trying to make a difference here. That's why I fight so hard in West New York. And I will take this, like I've always told you, to the next level and intervene eventually in the future with the board. So whether you guys, you need to get on the right track here. Start paying attention to what really matters in West New York, which is our kids first. And I don't see that happening. Because if I was a leader here, believe me, I would be the last guy to take the raise before my workers do. Because if those teachers are happy, so will those kids will get the education they deserve. And you can't keep asking teachers to give more and more and more when you haven't given first, okay? So let's make a change here. Let's make a difference. Really, I don't know what I say, whether it goes in one ear or out the other to you, to each one of you here on the board, but we really need to do something quick. Because I don't see things getting better anytime soon. Again, we're going to have a tax raise in West New York, which is going to flare up the community. Due again to poor mismanagement, the mayor hiring people outside of beyond. If you have a budget, you're supposed to stay within it. But the reality is, if there's anything that I can do as a commissioner, anything that's going on that town isn't providing to you, remember something, there's 5 commissioners, they're not just one, okay? So don't be afraid to call my office. And I understand right now, and I'm going to be straightforward with you, they're trying to pull more money from the Board of Ed for particular things, I guess buildings that you have in West New York, that you rent or whatever it might be. Don't hesitate to call me. I'm here for West New York. I fight for West New York. And especially our children, I'll fight harder than for anybody here. So please, call me. If there's something you want to talk about, Mr. Fowler, Mrs. Series, for anything that you have to discuss with me, please, you two of the leaders here on this board is how I look at it. So call me. There's not one man running this town. And as I proved before, I've made a difference in West New York, whether I have to go through high and high water to make it happen. I'm here for these kids, so please, if there's anything we can do to relieve this pressure from you, anything to take back on money that's owed from us, maybe to next year or whatever it is, but you don't take care of these teachers, we're going to have a big headache here. And they don't produce. An unhappy worker, it's no production, there's no fruit. So please, put this in your mind, guys, okay? So call me. You know where to reach me in the town hall? I'm there for you. I will fight for anything that's going to make this town better. And it's just not about the town hall. It's about all of us together working to make this whole town a better place to live. Okay, so thank you very much.
Hi, just 2 quick questions. I wanted to see if we were allowed to find
Can
out.
you state your name again?
Frank Ferrero, 23 23 Henry Street, Centerville, New Jersey. Like I said, two quick questions. Just would like to find out why Vargas's issue got postponed again. Any reason for it? Anything that we're allowed to know? And when will it finally take place? Can we be, I mean, there's 2 meetings in a row now that we come, and we've been here 4 hours each meeting and waited patiently. And this time at least, I would like some kind of answer.
The board placed it on the table last month, which means that they decided not to vote on it. This month, they did not, again, they voted again, well, they determined not again to vote on it, so it dies, the resolution dies.
So-
That's why it happened.
So the issue's gonna go away? Okay,
Hold on,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The other half of it is that it's a personnel issue, and I'll leave it to the attorney to decide if I'm incorrect, but we do not discuss outcomes of personnel issues in public. Mr. Taylor?
No, Mr. Roth, I agree with that, and it's not a matter of the board not discussing it pursuant to state law. The board cannot discuss personnel matters in public.
Okay, no, I understand that part. So you're saying, let's say the resolution's off the table, Mr. Vargas has his job.
It's not off the table, it's still on the table, which is why it died.
Okay, so now the resolution's dead. It
Yes,
will
sir.
be brought up at next month's meeting.
No, well,
Unless it's
this
a new
one
issue.
won't. This one won't. If a new resolution is put forth, maybe, but this resolution will not be forth.
Okay, so Mr. Vargas's employment continues
Yes.
unharmed.
Well, this employment continues.
Okay. The second question, as I'm not clear on it, the issue with the teachers getting the pay raise or not getting it, did that go through or not go through? Was that voted yes or no?
We're in negotiations, sir, and everybody, the teachers all know, we're in negotiations.
Okay.
It's a
We're
long
not teachers,
process.
we're the public.
No,
and we
I
just
know,
want
that's
to
what I'm
inform.
explaining. It's a long process. When the board and the association together mutually agree on a contract, then at that point in time, the board will vote on it after the association, after the teachers and custodians and bus drivers and secretaries vote on it. We're not at that stage yet. The board will not discuss in public what our issues are. The union can do what they want to do, but the board won't discuss negotiation strategy in public. Suffice it to say that historically here, the association and the board have always worked together. We've always resolved the contracts, and I firmly believe that we will resolve this one as well.
I hope so too, because the teachers are the most important part of our town. They teach our kids. Thank you. Just wanted a little bit of clarity. Thank you for giving it to me.
I find that real weak upon you to let this thing die at the table. I'm losing very much respect for each one of you sitting at the table here, because no one's got conviction here to do the right things. And you sit there and you have to all this sit down.
Commissioner, why don't you go over to the phone? Here, so we cannot hear you.
Well, that's okay, you don't need to hear. The reality is, I'm very disappointed with the board here.
Go to the
Please let that go.
microphone. Go to the microphone. Let me hear you.
Let me ask you a couple more questions. Why not? Are you kidding me, guys? A gentleman doesn't show up for work or doesn't come to work and you just let it die on the board? Is that the position you took? I remember when there was a poor girl here who had a disability and you never gave her a job. You were ready to fire her. And if I wasn't sitting here to listen, you probably would have changed your mind and let that happen. Are you going to tell me now a gentleman, because he's a commissioner? What does that mean? A commissioner doesn't come to work, who represents for our kids? Who's supposed to be in responsibility for our bus system, our transportation? So it's okay for him to take the next step, to die there and let the thing die on the table? Are you kidding me? This is what I'm talking about in West New York. I'm very displeased. I'm displeased with all of you here. I'm very unhappy. Ms. Pastelli, did you ever say anything about this? You're the one person that I count on when we put you here in the first place. Did you have any comment on that as far as letting that die?
Sir, if I may, you being a commissioner, you may be fully aware of the Open Public Meetings Act and the fact that matters.
I want them to answer for
Sir,
themselves. Why not?
I
They
may.
should answer for themselves.
Sir.
I answer for myself every
Sir.
week, every month that I go and I
Sir, if
town
I may,
hall.
upon the advice of counsel, this board is being advised not to respond to your question and not to discuss
So
anything.
be quiet, right?
Not to discuss anything that was discussed in executive/closed session.
So be
So
quiet.
again, matters of
Obviously, that's the
personnel
way, to be hide
are not
behind the
subject
lawyer
to
and be quiet,
disclosure
right?
to the public, as I'm sure you're aware, sir.
Be quiet. I'm very disappointed in you all for taking that position not to fire this gentleman. That shows no conviction and no heart and what's the right thing to do and the responsibility for West New York. This is why I'm running here, to make this change. Thank you so much for your reconsideration. For the rest of this community here, I'm very displeased with you. You have no idea. You shouldn't even be sitting up in that board. Don't smile, Mr. Series. You're responsible. You're a president of this board.
Hello, my name is Danny Morales. Just have one thing to say.
Need your address, sir?
556 59th Street, West New York. One thing just to say, you guys said that basically is dead, Ruben Vargas termination. Let's say you guys are not going to talk about it. So basically, you can't give the teachers a raise, but you're still not going to fire somebody who doesn't show up to work. That's just honest. That's just not right. That's just not right at all. If you guys could afford to pay him and he doesn't show up to work, you could afford to pay the teachers. That's all I have to say.
I don't think this was said that
Lois Torr, President of Westchester Education Association. Just a question. Is the proposed budget that you will be presenting on the 27th at the open public hearings, did I hear that correctly, at 4 p.m.? Is that the correct date for the open public hearing?
Yeah, it's the last Wednesday.
Okay. At that time, will you be presenting a budget with an increase up to the cap, or at least an increase in it? Or are you going to flat fund the budget again, according to the town's portion of the budget?
There will not be a tax increase.
Not be a tax increase means you will not be increasing the budget at all on the town's, out of the town's pockets, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Again, a terrible thing to do.
Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard?
They went home.
See no one else? Are there any board members who have any comments this evening?
I do have a comment. I want to stay in the record that nobody from the board is being, we don't talk about the budget for the teachers yet. We stay away from that comment, okay? I just want to keep that on record.
Is there any other board member that wishes to make a comment? The board president, any comment? May I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion?
May I have a second? Second. President Series,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes, Trustee Alam, Trustee Duval, Trustee Gassadui, Trustee Dr. Pizzatelli,
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned. Good evening.
No, it's only when he's around, top on it.